Hi, I'm Louisa. I am a dream tender and creative coach. And every month I share a few images that are coming up through people's dreams. So some collective images that are really coming through right now for multiple dreamers that whose dreams I hear. And I always pick some images that really sort of further our sense of wholeness, that seem like images that are bringing us towards a greater level of happiness, self-understanding, and really ushering us towards our greatest potential as human beings. There are 3 images that I have picked this month that have been coming through very strongly in numerous dreams. And these images are, first, feral male strength. I'll get into what that means in a moment. The wild dog. That's a lovely image that I have a lot to say about too. And then thirdly, luminous blue beings. So let's start with feral male strength. So this image is particularly appearing in women's dreams. And what's common for all of the women who are having dreams where this particular male archetype, I would say, is coming through, is that they have done a ton of work already, a ton of inner work integrating their own feminine energies. They've done a lot of what we call goddess work, if you will, and they're already very connected to their own soul life. So feral male strength really comes in multiple different forms. It's always a very strong masculine energy. It's always an energy that has some indigenous aspects. So we'll see Samoan Islander coming through quite a lot at the moment. Or it's somebody who has, some kind of physical job. Star quarterback has been coming through for some of my clients. Jason Momoa is coming through quite a lot. I'm just the messenger. But we definitely see that type of male energy coming through. And I feel like this male energy harkens back to an image like Pan, the Greek god of the wild and of music, or Sinonus, who was the Celtic god of wilderness and of fertility. What is so interesting about this male energy, though, is that it really offers a lot of support, a lot of beautiful support to the dreamer. So it's a very different masculine than what we have been conditioned to perhaps believe is the only way to be a man in our culture in the last several thousand years. It really is a male energy that is, as I said, supportive of the dreamer, that is fighting for the dreamer, that is using these extraordinary capacities to live in the natural world as a way to protect the dreamer and make her feel safe. So there is this sense in the women who are dreaming about this man that, wow, oh my God, I can finally surrender. I have this sturdy support that will hold me and protect me as I go out into the world and share my work and do my work. So it's a really extraordinary image that's coming through for so many women right now. There is a wildness, that's the feral quality I'm talking about too. There is a wild man quality in him as well. And why I chose the word feral is, again, because it's not a conditioned masculine. It's not somebody who's been conditioned by centuries and centuries of industrial revolution perception of what it means to be a man. It's not the guy who sits in the office and sort of uses his strengths and masculinity to plug away on a computer. It's really somebody who is connected to the elements, who knows how to survive in the natural world. And he also brings feelings of love and attraction to the dreamer. There's this deep reverence of Mother Earth in him. There is a deep reverence of the feminine, of women. And so he really also invites this wholeness of partnership. And that partnership is the inner partnership, and of course it's also the outer partnership. But I think the most important quality here that's coming through for so many women is it's okay to surrender. It's okay once again to be in this natural, authentic state of who I am which will then allow me to love the world and love other people and be in relationship in a truly giving way. So, it's beautiful. And I don't think it's an accident that this image is coming through at a time where our culture has just become so much about power and control. We are really just probably more than ever suffering the effects of this patriarchal construct that has become our world. One could argue that if we don't learn a different way of being masculine in the world than that, there's a good chance that we are somehow going to implode or not survive, and we're not going to know what to. We're not going to know how to live in the world anymore, because there's just too much violence and too much destruction happening on multiple levels, from the soul level to the natural world. Because of that, I don't also think it's an accident that it's really an image that's coming through for women who have done a ton of work reclaiming their feminine. Because a woman like that, who's strong in being a woman already, is then able to hold space for that new masculine to come through. I do also think it's important to say, though, is that when I say masculine, I'm not only referring to a man. I'm referring as much to the integration of that masculine energy in the woman. And of course, this figure shows up for men in different ways too, and invites that integration of a different kind of masculine to happen in the man as well. And I think what's curious about this image too is that often you would associate masculinity with action, right? But this masculinity, or this particular male image, is really just inviting the dreamer to sit back, relax. I've got this. You're okay. You can surrender. So some images, some dream images, will come with a big call towards action. Some images, when you really start to unlock what they mean, will bring a big call to, like, you must do this. You must change your action in the world. That's not this male energy. He just allows that surrender. He allows that, okay, I'm okay. So if this image is coming through for you, if a version of this image is coming through for you, I would say experiment with what it's like to just sit with this image a couple of minutes in the morning. Every morning, just invite that image back in to your imagination. And notice if the breath drops. Notice if there is a surrender that happens. Notice if there is a sense of safety that comes through for you. And then see what it's like to just walk with that safety in the world. See what it's like to just bring that quality of experience, trust, safety, surrender into your life, whenever appropriate. Of course, it's not always appropriate. But I think it would probably behoove us to practice getting out of fight and flight at this particular time in our culture too. And this image really helps us with that. So the next image that I've chosen for this month is a wild dog. And it really speaks to a similar theme about getting back to our authentic self, but through this relationship with an animal. The thematic that this image really brings through for us is beautifully represented in this movie called Night Bitch, starring Amy Adams, where she starts this process of almost becoming dog-like herself. And the neighborhood dogs will sort of come to her house and they'll wait for her to go and run with them in her dreams, or, we think it's in her dreams, but she might actually be doing it. And what the invitation of this wild dog is to reclaim that sense of lost wildness, that sense of authentic self. And interestingly, right after I watched this movie and really connected very deeply with it, I started having a slew of dreamers come through who were dreaming about wild dog. And the theme of the dreams that I was hearing was really the same theme as this movie. Just wanting to run with wild dog. I just want to get out there. I just want to be in the mountains with this beautiful animal. I just want to run up the hills and lie on the grass and sleep on the ground. All of these things. I just want to get dirty And I just want that to be okay. So as these domesticated animals, dogs are traditionally seen, of course, as man's best friend or woman's best friend. They're traditionally seen as this connector between the house and the wilderness. They're also a great symbol of healing. And they have this intelligence that is very specific to dogs. They're very, very trustworthy. They're very, very loyal. And they really connect us to the wild, to the animal kingdom. And when we dream of animals, there really is always an invitation to start to notice our own instincts more, our own animal self, if you will. So if this dog is coming through for you, if dog is visiting your dreams, I would say maybe do a little bit of work around your own instincts. What instincts might I have that I'm not following? And sometimes there's very good reasons why not to follow our instincts, but have I shut myself off from my instinctive self? And is there a way that I could become more embodied, that I could really feel into my physical nature, my animal nature a little bit more? And maybe just in the safety of my home, practice what it's like to live through my own instincts a little bit more. In the movie Night Bitch, what Amy Adams does is that she invites dog into her home, and she invites dog into the interaction with her young son, and she becomes a fabulously fun, alive mother as a result. And ultimately, this process of being dog-like in her own life brings her back to her creativity, to her authentic self. That really is the promise of dog. And yes, in the movie, it's horribly embarrassing when it happens in the wrong places. So, there are ways of course, avoiding that. But in the safety of our own home, I do think it's important to ask those questions right now. That seems to be the call of dog. What are my instincts? What about the natural world and my connection to the natural world have I forgotten or maybe not engaged with for years and years and years? I think it's safe to say that we probably all spend a lot more time looking at our devices than looking at the grass or the trees or the hills, being in the wilderness, being in just the park. But there is an incredible regeneration, both of our soul life, our creative life, our physiological life that can happen if we allow a little bit more time with something of the uncivilized world, something of wildness. So that's really what this image is bringing through for us. And then I want to talk about luminous being, blue luminous being. So this image is extraordinary, and it's coming through so much. It came through for me originally right at the start of COVID, when we were all in lockdown. And for me, it was a blue orb that just appeared, and then it sort of morphed into something else, a different type of blue being. And it was an extraordinary guiding light for me at the time, an extraordinary figure of healing, and just pointing me in the right direction, shifting my perspective to really look at what was my mission and purpose in life at a time where I honestly did not know. And so this is the promise of this blue being. It comes through with this beautiful, massive shift into, I almost want to say, a higher consciousness, a completely new consciousness around what it means to be human. People dream about luminescent blue water, rivers, oceans, rain. People dream about the orbs, the blue orbs. People dream about shape-shifting blue beings that just appear at these very difficult moments in their lives. And blue being has a long history as a presence here on Earth. The Hindu gods were often depicted blue. Egyptian gods were often depicted blue. More recently, several channelers and very tapped-in spiritual people are talking about blue beings are being channeled. Blue beings are being seen as visitors from outer space coming to Earth. It's very interesting and very exciting. And I don't necessarily know what it means. I obviously don't know what this blue being is and how it translates into something outside of me. rather than inside of me. What I do know, though, is that blue being always invites this incredible shift in consciousness for the dreamer. Whether that shift in consciousness has something to do with finally being able to see childhood trauma in a completely new light that allows the dreamer to let go of things that they never thought they could let go of and start to see their lives in a completely different light. Or whether it speaks to that real shift in consciousness where nothing is the same anymore. Blue being just invites this extraordinary shift, this extraordinary opening. It's a portal. Yeah, blue being is a portal into a different consciousness. If blue being is coming through for you, I would say don't seek to interpret the image. Don't seek to understand it with the ego mind, because it's way too vast for that. But allow it through in your meditation. Allow it to just say what it has to say. How might it guide you? If I slow down and if I sit down and I close my eyes and I allow this blue being to appear, what might it say? It might say some really extraordinary things. It's very grounding and very opening at the same time. And what would happen if I took some of that blue light and just created a pair of glasses, put it over my eyes so that I could see the world through that blue light, so that I could see my relationships, the problems that I'm facing, the problems of the world through this lens. It can't hurt. You might actually find that it's quite extraordinary to do so. Something will for sure happen. So these are the three images that I chose for this month. And the reason, in a nutshell, is that I think Psyche is calling us towards a new masculine, one that can support this opening, this reconnecting to Earth and to the cosmos that we so desperately need. We are in a big shift now. There's no denying it. You know, the structures are falling. We're finding out that perhaps they never quite supported us in the way that we thought, or haven't for a while. But where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? It's a real question, and the answer, it seems very clear, is not going to come from out there. The answer is going to come from inside all of us individually. And I think that inner support, these images that are coming through, with such tremendous support, they're coming through for a reason. I think these images, if we tend them, will help us become, from the inside out, the change that we wish to see in the world. And again, what is the environment, what is the world, other than a reflection of us? So when we individually, when we become whole, when we have more access to the divine and more access to the wisdom of the earth, I think that's when things will really start to move in a direction that is healing, that is regenerative, that can help us create the world out of the great destruction that we're seeing on so many levels right now. All of these three images seem to really be speaking to that and helping us with that. And it's almost as if they are a preparation to get to know these images. And perhaps we can all come together and create a different world, a better world than what we're seeing at the moment. So I hope this has piqued your interest in the dream world. If it has, please like and subscribe, and come back for more. Put your images that are coming through in the comments to this video. And if several people are bringing through the same images, I will speak to them and tend them in one of the next videos that we do. We will be back with more content about how to unlock the power and the transformational capacities of your dreams in the next few weeks. Thank you so much for watching.